Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
Bismillah, Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. Welcome to another episode of Ask Huda. I'm your host, Omar Dunlap. We would like to bestow on you and your family, or ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bestow on your family a blessed Eid and a happy Eid. And we ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your deeds during this Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala. I would like to welcome our beloved Sheikh, Dr. Mohamed Salah. Welcome.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Umar, and welcome to the program. Happy Eid to you and to your family and to the entire Ummah at large.
Wa alaikum salam wa Jazakallah khair. I would like to remind our viewers of our telephone number, 002-0238 555 348 or 349. And you can email us at ask@huda.tv. Sheikh, I would like to give you an opportunity at the beginning of our show to perhaps give our viewers some advice now that Ramadan has come to a close. What is some advice that we can give them to keep up their good deeds, inshallah?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wal-aqibatu lil-muttaqeen. Wa la udwana illa ala al-zalimin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidil awwalina wal-akhirina, Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. All praise be to Allah alone. We praise Him and we seek His help. Whomsoever Allah guides is a truly guided one, and whomsoever Allah leaves astray, no one can show him guidance. I bear witness that there is no God worthy of worship but Allah alone, and I bear witness that Muhammad, peace be upon him, is his last messenger. Brothers and sisters everywhere, congratulations, happy Eid for all of you, and may Allah accept the best of our deeds. Acceptance is the key. Yes, we did strive very hard, we struggled, we fasted during the days of Ramadan, we prayed at night, we gave in charity, we try to imitate the Prophet ﷺ and fulfill his traditions and follow his footsteps. May Allah accept. But remaining is a very important thing, which is whether our deeds will be accepted or not. And this is the core of the issue. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us a very interesting story, the story of the two sons of Adam. وَاتْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ نَبَأَ ابْنَيْ آدَمَ بِالْحَقِّ إِذْ قَرَّبَا قُرْبَانًا. Both of them were required to offer a qurbani, or a ransom, or a sacrifice. فَتُقُبِّلَ مِنْ أَحَدِهِمَا وَلَمْ يُتَقَبَّلْ مِنَ الْآخَرِ. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only accepted the sacrifice of one of them, which is Habil, and did not accept the other one. قَالَ لَأَقْتُلَنَّكَ. So the one whose sacrifice was not accepted said, I shall kill you. He envied him. He was very jealous. So Habil said, إِنَّمَا يَتَقَبَّلُ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْمُتَّقِينَ. This is a solution for this very complicated equation, which is that whom does Allah accept from? He said, indeed, it is only that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from the righteous ones, from al-muttaqeen. May Allah make us all amongst them. So they both did offer the sacrifice, but one offered the sacrifice the best of what he possessed, and he offered it with sincerity, and accordingly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted his sacrifice. While the other one was not sincere, in addition to, when he looked around, he picked the worst of his produce. So we did work hard, but we will have to find out how we make sure that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept our deed after this phone call, inshallah.
Very good. We have on the line now Sister Hajar from Oman. Go ahead, sister, with your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Taqabbal Allah minna wa minkum, inshallah.
Ameen. Taqabbal Allah minna wa minkum.
Dr. Salah, there is a confusion about fasting the 6th Shawwal. We hear that we have to first pay our days and then fast the 6 days of Shawwal, and other people are saying no. You can fast the 6th Shawwal and then pay your days. So please clarify this.
Yeah, okay. Inshallah I will.
Jazakallah khair.
Thank you, Sister Hajar.
Jazakallah khair, sister.
Many people may ask, why do you make it very complicated? We did fast, we did work very hard. Then Allah owes us to deliver to deliver, to take us to heaven from the gate of Arayyan, to pardon us, to forgive us our sins, which is not necessarily the case. There are many fasting people who are just fasting physically, not spiritually, who did not attain the goal of fasting, who did not really graduate from the school of Ramadan. And I would like to drive this example in order to know exactly where are we standing. One of the best men of this ummah, the third best man in this ummah, was Umar ibn Khattab. May Allah be pleased with him. And this is a testimony of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
Yes.
He testified for his righteousness. He vouched for his credibility, for his piousness and righteousness. Not only that, he gave him a glad tiding that he will be a shaheed. When they were all on the mountain of Uhud and it choked, so Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam predicted that. He said, "Uthbut Uhud, فإنما عليك نبي وصديق وشهيدان." The Siddiq was Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, and Shahidan was Umar ibn Khattab and Uthman ibn Affan. May Allah be pleased with both of them. So Umar ibn Khattab was given the glad tiding by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam he would die as a shaheed. Umar ibn Khattab was the second in the list of the 10 heaven-bound companions. And when the prophecy of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was fulfilled, while Amirul Mu'mineen Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, was leading the prayer, Fajr prayer, and the disbeliever Abu Lu'lu al-Majusi stabbed him, and he was bleeding. After he finished the prayer, they took him home, and he felt very bad, and he was sorry. He was crying. So they called Abdullah ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, the Prophet's cousin, in order to calm him down and entertain him and assure him that he will have an excellent fate, etc. He started reminding him, "Ya Umar, don't be sad. You're the Khalifa, you are the leader of the believers. The Prophet ﷺ died while he was pleased with you. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq likewise, and we're very pleased with you as well. So rejoice and expect well." Then Umar ibn Khattab all of a sudden started speaking out. And he said, "All of what you mentioned is just a favor that Allah bestowed upon me. I didn't do anything to deserve it." The hadith is in Sahih al-Bukhari. Furthermore, he said, and I would like to quote that in Arabic, he said, "لو أن لي طلاع الأرض ذهبا." طلاع الأرض, everything that the sun rises on. So if I have the earth full of gold, and I would like to give it as a ransom or a sacrifice in order to ransom myself from the fire of hell before I meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I would love to do that. Imagine this is somebody whom the Prophet ﷺ promised that he is one of the dwellers of heaven. The Quran was revealed 4 times, Umar, 4 times, to confirm and coincide the view and the opinion of Umar ibn Khattab, to the extent that the Prophet ﷺ said, post the battle of Badr, "By Allah, if Allah is going to punish all of us, no one will be saved but Umar ibn Khattab." But he's very frightened, he's very afraid. He died while he was leading the prayer in his mihrab. He was stabbed, he was martyred. Still, he is worried. This is a secret that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in verse number 60 of Surah Al-Mu'minun, وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْتُونَ مَا آتَوا وَقُلُوبُهُمْ وَجِلَةٌ. Why? أَنَّهُمْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ راجعون. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about that, they give whatever they give, whether of fasting, of prayers, of charity, of good deeds they do, but their hearts are frightened that their deeds might not be sufficient. Their deeds might not be accepted. Because the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "None of you will enter paradise simply because of your deeds." They said, "O Messenger of Allah, not even you?" He said, "Not even me, except if Allah covers me with His mercy." So we would like to look into our work and deed and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept it. Remember when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honored and entrusted Prophet Abraham and his son Ishmael with the construction of the Kaaba? Upon the completion of their mission, what did they say? They said, "رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ رَبَّنَا وَاجْعَلْنَا مُسْلِمَيْنِ لَكَ وَمِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِنَا أُمَّةً مُسْلِمَةً لَكَ." So they invoked Allah first to accept. And that's why in Urdu they say, "Allah ka will carry." In Arabic they say, "Taqabbal Allahu minna." In English they say, "May Allah accept." Because if our deeds have not been accepted, then what a waste. It's all in vain. So now we learn why our predecessors used to spend 6 months after Ramadan asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept their ibadah during Ramadan. Then the remaining 6 months asking Allah to give them a long life to witness the next Ramadan. These are all beautiful opportunities that we should not let go, we should not waste. We should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with sincerity to accept our deeds. And furthermore, if we have learned something in Ramadan, patience, abstinence, and self-restraint, and felt the poverty of the poor and felt pity for them, we should continue to resume that after Ramadan. We maintain praying in Jama'ah during Ramadan. We prayed at night during Ramadan. It is very important to maintain that the battery is fully charged. We would like to work hard to maintain the charge throughout the year until another beautiful season. Because I would like to say to those who quit right after Ramadan is over, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Lord of Ramadan and the Lord of every other month of the year.
And that statement of the Prophet ﷺ that nobody enters paradise by his good deeds, that helps kind of curb the self-righteousness as well, doesn't it? Which is a problem in other religions.
Correct. And inshallah, perhaps we'll have another opportunity to shed some light on this beautiful statement.
Right now we have on the line Sister Fatima from Nigeria. Sister Fatima, go ahead with your question, please. Yes, go ahead, sister. Wa alaikum salam.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sister.
Brothers, thank you very much for a job well done. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you all with benefits.
And you too. Thank you.
My question today is, what is the Islamic ruling on racism?
Could you repeat that question? The Islamic ruling on...
And my second question is, I have two questions, please.
Okay, can you repeat your first question, sister?
My second question is Islamic ruling on racism. Somebody raping a woman.
Okay, and your second question?
My second question is Islamically and regarding the hadith of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which says that a woman does not turn down her husband's call and it will crash. Does a woman have, sexual rights in Islam?
Okay, Jazakallah khair. Sister Fatima, I have that question. Sheikh, I would like to go to Sister Hajja's question.
Sure.
She said that some people say it's not okay to make up the missed days of Ramadan before fasting the 6 days of Shawwal. So she was wondering...
As a matter of fact, her question is the opposite. She says that some people say it is required to make up the missed days of Ramadan. Based on what? Based on the explicit meaning of the hadith. The hadith which talks about the virtues of fasting 6 days of Shawwal says, من صام رمضان ثم أتبعه 6 من شوال فكأنما صام الدهر. Whosoever observes fasting during the month of Ramadan then succeeds that or follows that by fasting 6 days of Shawwal, and it doesn't have to be consecutive, by the way. It can be spread out throughout the entire month of Shawwal until the last day. Allah will reward them the reward of fasting lifetime. Or, if we say according to the other view, the entire year. Based on the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مَنْ جَاءَ بِالْحَسَنَةِ فَلَهُ عَشْرُ أَمْثَالِهَا, the end of Surah Al-An'am. Whosoever brings a good deed, Allah will give him 10 times more. So, fasting 30 days of Ramadan will be rewarded 10 times more, that is 300. So, similar to fasting 300 days. So 300 days, and the year is 360 approximately, so we say fasting another 6 days of the month of Shawwal will make up the entire course. And that's why they say you should first complete the course of Ramadan by making up the missed days, and afterward fast the 6 days of Shawwal. This is a respected view. But also we have the hadith of Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha wa ardaha, which she says that sometimes she would postpone making up the missed days of Ramadan until next Sha'ban, which is a few days before the month of Ramadan. So it is permissible. And a middle way is, if a woman owns only 5 days, 6 days, it is recommended to begin by making up the missed days. Then she still have a chance to fast the 6 days of Shawwal, the voluntary fasting. But if she owes a lot, then I would say it is recommended for her to fast the 6 days of Shawwal. Then she can make up the missed days throughout the year, as long as she makes them up before the next Ramadan. Wallahu a'lam.
Very good. Jazakallah khair for that answer, Sheikh. We have Brother Saleh on the line from Switzerland. Go ahead with your question, Brother Saleh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, my question is praying at the mosque. If you arrive late at the mosque and, for example, Fajr prayers, and then you miss one rakat, so some they read silent and some they read loud. So I don't know which one is correct, or if it is Isha prayers, we have to read silent or we have to read loud.
Okay.
That's my first question. And the second question is concerning about the pastor in America who wanted to burn the Quran. What can we do as Muslims? What do we have to do? Do we have to pray? Or what have we to do about this?
Okay.
And my third question is fasting Mondays and Thursdays. If somebody started, is it that he have to continue this for the rest of his life, or he just fast whenever he wants to eat? This is my question.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for your question there, Brother Saleh. We also have on the line Sister Sabah from Canada. Go ahead, Sister, with your question.
Assalamu alaikum to you, brother, and assalamu alaikum to you, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sister.
Eid Mubarak, Eid Saeed, Kullu Amanto Bekhair to everyone. Having Huda TV in Ramzan was a great opportunity for us to improve ourselves. Sheikh, I was just hearing, I have a different question, but while I was hearing you through the phone, I heard in one of you say that, it's better to fast for the women, complete the Ramadan 6 fast and then complete the Shawwal fast. But my husband says, for me, that it's okay if you fast six days in a month, and, I don't want you to fast too many days. So I'm first doing Shawwal, and then I'll complete my Ramadan's mitzvah. Is that okay?
It is okay, as I mentioned earlier, based on your capacity. I'm talking about what's preferable. What's preferable is to complete the course, because the fard should be given the priority. And due to the shortness of time, because it's only the voluntary 6 days of Shawwal, only during the month of Shawwal, if you can make them during the month of Shawwal, along with making up the missed days, that will be great. Otherwise, ما جعل الله عليكم في الدين من حرج. Allah does not want to burden yourselves. So take it easy, and if you owe plenty of days, or if you cannot fast both courses during the month of Shawwal, so you can fast the 6 days of Shawwal first, inshallah, and spread out the remaining days. You can make them up throughout the rest of the year until it is before the next Ramadan.
My first question is, in India and Pakistan, while reading Taraweeh, not in the masjids, I'm talking about at home, I have seen that normally women, there is in our dua books also, that we read a dua after every 4 rakats. And so I just want to know, is there any dua that is supposed to be read in between the 4 rakats of your Taraweeh prayers if you're reading 20 rakats?
No. If you're praying by yourself for congregation, there is a break. During the break, you can ask Allah for forgiveness, or you can make tasbih or whatever in private. But those practices where people have a routine of saying things congregationally, it is not from the Sunnah.
Oh, okay. So just continue, break and continue.
Correct.
My second question is that, again, we have noticed that if a woman passes away, after she has been washed and shrouded, the male non-mahram family members, so I'm specifically mentioning non-mahram, who are not mahram to her, are not allowed to see the woman's face after she has been washed and shrouded, even though she was not wearing a hijab.
Why would they see her if it is not permissible to see her before death? Why after? What is the purpose?
Oh, so because if a woman wears just her hijab and they're seeing her face.
Correct, but why would somebody like to see my wife's face or my daughter's or my mother's or any woman's face after death if she's not related to him, if she's not his mahram? Why?
Oh, Sheikh, I was mentioning that these are non-mahram male members are like cousin brothers and respectively.
Correct, and I'm still asking the same question. Why would your cousin like to see your face? I'm talking about after death. Why would somebody like to see his cousin's face after death? There's no reason.
So can I put in my will that nobody should see, only the male mahram should see my face?
Yes. And it would suffice you. It would suffice you if you write in your bequest or your will that you would like the Sharia rules to be applied from beginning to end.
Okay, all right. Those were my questions. Jazakallah khair once again, and may Allah accept everything from us. Amin.
Thank you.
Jazakallah khair for that answer, Sheikh. We have on the line Brother Sayeb from Nigeria. Go ahead with your question, brother.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My question is, I just want to ask if marriage of cousins in Islam is allowed. If it's allowed for me to marry my cousin?
If you want to, it is permissible as long as you are not breastfed together. Okay? And the Prophet ﷺ married to his cousin Zainab bint Jahsh. May Allah be pleased with her. She was the Prophet's cousin. I know that in the West, particularly Umar, and I know you know better, right away when that subject is brought up, they say gross.
Yeah, right.
It's like, she's my sister. Okay. But it's very interesting that they abandon the halal and they seek the haram. But it is permissible. And notice the difference between when I say it is permissible to marry your cousin if there is no other preventing causes, versus you have to marry your cousin. Nobody says you have to marry your cousin. Right. If you want to, it is permissible. It is halal. And by law, it is lawful as well. Right?
In most states, yeah. Some of them actually not, but most of the states, yeah, actually. So if I understand your answer then, so you're saying basically because there may be some need for it, Islam allows it. I mean, there could be some circumstances where almost it's a necessity, in some...
In marriage, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala listed certain categories who are prohibited for marriage, to be taken in marriage. In Surah An-Nisa, حرمت عليكم أمهاتكم وبناتكم وأخواتكم وعماتكم وخالاتكم وبنات الأخ, the verse, right? Then the Prophet ﷺ added certain categories, such as it is not permissible to marry or co-marry two sisters at the same time. It is not permissible to marry a girl and her aunt, whether paternal or maternal, right? Other than that, it is permissible. وَأُحِلَّ لَكُمْ مَا وَرَاءَ ذَلِكُمْ. Besides that, it is permissible. So one's cousin is permissible for him, whether it's necessary or unnecessary. We're talking about what is permissible. It is halal and lawful for one to marry his cousin if they both agree and they fulfill the other conditions.
Very good. Jazakallah khair for that clarification, Sheikh. I would like to go back now to Sister Fatima's question from Nigeria. She wants to know, what is the Islamic ruling on rape? If a man were to rape a woman, what does Sharia say about that?
Okay, rape will have a combination of both punishment. The punishment of haddu zina, in addition to at-ta'zir. At-ta'zir is a discipline that will be determined by the judge, the Muslim judge, based on the circumstances. Like some people have used any tool to force a girl or a family to indulge into an illicit relationship or to rape her. Such a heinous crime should not be taken with leniency or easy. So he has up to execution. You can apply that. In addition to, you already know the punishment for adultery if the person happened to be married or was married, which is known in Islam as ihsan, which is stoning. And it's very interesting now, you see the entire world is protesting against a Sharia rule which protects the modesty of the entire society. When one punishment is practiced once, then the entire society... There are some societies, for instance, where there is no drug dealing, period. Why? Because there is something called law and order. The law is at work, is effective. Dealing with drugs, its punishment is execution. Rape, its punishment is execution. Not just to spend a few years in jail or in any institute or to be fired from work, to pay penalty. What happens? Once this person is out, he will redo it again. You see, the rapist and those who were involved in sexual abuse or sexual molestation, they monitor them, and once they leave prison, most of the time, if you follow those programs, they return back to prison for the same crime. And sometimes it is attached to killing as well. Why? Because we give them the freedom to do that. So when we have some examples put into the proper punishment, which is stated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you would not find any person who dares to think about raping any person.
Very good. Jazakallah khair for that answer, Sheikh. Right now we have Sister Madiha from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia on the line. Go ahead, Sister, with your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
My first question is it forbidden for Muslims to visit places where Allah has previously sent His punishment?
Okay.
The second one is it necessary for a woman to cover her hand and feet before going out? Is it a part of hijab?
Okay.
Third is, according to Islam, how should a woman cover herself in front of non-mahram condition while living under one roof?
Jazakallah khair for that question, Sister.
Thank you. Please sign me up.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Sister, for that question. Sister Fatima from Nigeria, her second question was, she mentioned a hadith that seemed to indicate that the Prophet ﷺ encouraged women not to turn down the husband in terms of intimacy.
Correct.
And she wants to know, is there any counter thing like that for the woman, or if you could explain that.
Yes, of course, and there is a Quranic verse that covers this particular issue and all other relating issues. The verse is وَلَهُنَّ مِثْلُ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. For them, the pronoun of hunna is for feminine. For the wives, there are rights similar to those which are due upon them. So it is not only the man who has this tendency and has this desire, a woman too. And a man have to be wise enough to know that when his wife is in need for that, even without asking, so that this is something very intimate, something very private, and it varies from a family to another. Obviously, issues like that are being discussed in details before me during marriage counseling and so on. There are some families who are not interested in having this relationship, but perhaps once a week. And there are other families who are asking for it once a day or more. So it depends on the couple. If the person knows that his wife's needs are like that, he should do his best to satisfy her needs. And that's why Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu ardah, and this issue have been dealt with more than 1400 years ago. When he overheard a woman, she was facing a poetry. She explained in her poem that how much she is missing her husband. He inquired about her husband, and he found out that her husband, she was talking to herself, and while he was patrolling the city. So he overheard her talking to herself. When he inquired about her husband, they said that he was deployed in the army. So he sent a command to all his commanders of chiefs that no one should stay on a battlefield more than 4 months. In addition to perhaps 1 month going and 1 month coming back, no more than 6 months. And that has been used as a doctrine, that no one should stay away from his wife for more than that without her permission. Without her permission, even if he's traveling abroad to work. Because it is as important as putting food on the table and bringing money to the family to support her financially. It is very important also to look after the need, the intimate need of one spouse.
Jazakallah khair for that answer, Sheikh. We're going to take a quick break, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Ask Huda.
Allah the Most High and Merciful says, "Invite to the way of your Lord with wisdom and fair preaching." Do you want to join Huda in calling to Allah? Do you want to spread the message like the prophets did? Do you want to share in the blessings and rewards? Why not support Huda towards these noble aims? Why not sponsor a program of your choice? If you would like to help Huda in spreading the correct message of Islam, please send an email to support@huda.tv or call +2 014 327 1771 for more details, or fax +2 023 555 251.
Huda TV is launching a new website for you, your family and friends. Everyone. A new look, top-level designs and better technology. You will be able to ping Huda TV's new website and read all our articles, surf our video archives, chat live on Huda's forum, vote, support our programs, and give us your suggestions or criticisms. We welcome your thoughts. We strive to please all our viewers worldwide. Huda, a light in every home.
Bismillah, Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. Welcome back to today's episode of Ask Huda. I would like to remind our viewers of our telephone number 002-0238 555 248 or 249, or you can email us at ask@huda.tv. Sheikh, I would like to ask Brother Saleh's question from Switzerland. He said about the Quran burning in the United States, the plan to do that. What can Muslims do about that?
Alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salamun ala ibadihi alladhina astafa la siyama mustafa thumma amma ba'd. I've been holding myself for a while talking on this particular issue, then following the articles and the news in the newspaper and news stations. I realized that this pastor is nothing but an ignorant hate monger and fame monger. He leads a congregation of 50 individuals, and you know in the States such church is nothing, has no place on the map, has no capacity whatsoever. And he admitted to his ignorance by saying that he has never read the Quran, and furthermore he admitted that he is not only ignorant but an idiot as well, by saying that he did not read the Quran, but he read what the Bible says about the Quran. And that is really the best proof that he is such an ignorant, arrogant no one whatsoever. Our role as Muslims, what is it? I love what our brothers in Gaza responded to this attempt. How did they respond? They graduated by the end of Ramadan 24,000 hafiz. This is an actual practical response. What are you going to burn exactly? The papers? The cover? What are you going to burn? This is a book that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had preserved by Himself. There are tens of millions of Muslims whom alhamdulillah have memorized the Quran by heart. I brought my children from America to raise them in a Muslim country for a sole purpose to memorize the Quran. Number one. The ultimate goal, and I have met many Americans, Canadians, Australians and European families here, their main purpose is to learn the Arabic and let their children memorize the Quran. And alhamdulillah, shukla, this is an ultimate goal in the mind and the heart of every true Muslim. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accomplish our goals. So by memorizing the Quran, by explaining to the entire world that even if you burn every copy of the Quran will never perish. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. He guaranteed its preservance by Himself. Allah is the one who preserves the Quran. This is on one side, which is the actual response. Second, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to curse and burn this man alive, even though he did not get to burn it, but he ignited the fitna. Right? We as Muslims, we are not allowed, nor do we even think about burning the Bible, which is fake and fabricated. We do not think of humiliating or discussing or ridiculing any religion or religious practices of any other religions. Why? Because we focus on our religion, we respect others, and we invite to the way of Allah with wisdom and with a good admonition. And even if we argue with one which is best, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أُدْعُ إِلَى سَبِيلِ رَبِّكَ بِالْحِكْمَةِ وَالْمَوْعِظَةِ الْحَسَنَةِ وَجَادِلْهُمْ بِالَّتِي أَحْسَنُ. I'm pretty sure most of the viewers got to watch previous debates of Sheikh Ahmed Didat, may Allah have mercy on him, versus James Swaggart and others, and how utterly he defeated them. They do not know what's written in their own books, in their own fabricated, man-written, new editions books. Islam teaches us to be wise and to respond with wisdom. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is able to defend His holy book in His holy places, and those people's hearts are full of fire. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make fire eat their hearts alive. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punish them in this life to make them an example to others and others. Really, the Muslim community in America and the Muslim communities in the West in general have a big role to play nowadays, campaigning to confront and counter-attack the campaigns against Islam. Unlike what CARE did by launching a campaign to distribute 1 million copy of the Quran. More and more people, alhamdulillah, are getting to read the Quran. And I read a survey that there is a greater demand than before in Barnes and Noble and other public libraries as well, and private libraries and book stores. They're selling more and more books, and they're loaning more and more books about Islam, particularly the Quran. I invite all the Islamic centers in America to have open houses, because every time there is a crisis, and we used to have an open house or currently have an open house, alhamdulillah, we gain more and more support from the local people to Islam and Muslims, and we gain more people who enter Islam. Islam, despite the fact that there is an official campaign from the time of this retarded person, George Bush, who started the campaign against Islam, more and more people are entering Islam, alhamdulillah, shukla, whether in the West or in the Muslim world, because of a very simple fact. This is the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if we're talking logically, the only religion which makes sense is Islam. And the only book which is free from any imperfection, the most wise book, is the Quran. And if this ignorant person bothered to read the Quran, the translation or the meaning of the Quran in English, he would have never decided to do anything like that, or perhaps he himself may have accepted Islam. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have put a lock on his heart, and unfortunately there are people who are worse than cattle. They have eyes but they cannot see, they have ears but they cannot hear, they have minds but they cannot reflect. They see the truth but they are blind because they are deaf and blind. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide such people to the truth. But if He knows that such people will continue in their struggle against Islam and their attack to Islam and Muslims and the holy sites in the Holy Quran, then may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make them an example to everybody else. May Allah burn them in this life and curse them.
Very good answer, Sheikh. Jazakallah khair. We have on the line Brother Ibrahim from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Go ahead with your question, please. Brother
Hello.
Ibrahim? Yes. Go ahead with your question.
Yes, sir. I that if once it happens to be so that I forgot the proper way of ghusl, and after asking someone, I got to know the proper way of ghusl once again. So in between those salat which I offer, do I have to repeat them again?
Okay, Jazakallah khair. And
one more question, please.
Okay, go ahead.
If suppose if we ejaculate sometimes without not because of any regime or something, but just because of sometimes some feelings we get maybe from shaitan, and is when we go to the washroom and when we urinate, some semen comes. So do we have to do ghusl once again?
Okay. Jazakallah khair. And we have Sister Amina from Nigeria on the line. Go ahead, Sister, with your question, please.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
My question is, if a woman decides to pay her the fasting that she did not do during the month of Ramadan, is it okay for her to do it first or to do the Sister Shawwal?
That question was answered before the break, sister. Okay, next.
Okay, are you still there, Sister Amina? Okay, I think we lost Sister Amina. I would like to go back to Brother Saleh's question from Switzerland. He said fasting Monday and Thursday. He's wondering for some reason if you have to continue that for the entire life. I think maybe there was a Sahaba that did something to that effect.
No, not necessarily. For the voluntary act, you may continue, you may stop at your convenience. But the Prophet ﷺ, when he was asked about the best deed, he said, أدومه وإن قل. أدومه وإن قل. The deed which is persistent or constant, even if it is a little. So it is recommended to train yourself to adopt a particular voluntary act, whether it's fasting, for instance, Monday or Thursday or both, and to continue as much as you can. But of course, it is not a must. So if you want to stop at any time, it is permissible for you to stop. Unless if you impose it on yourself. If you're talking about the one Sahaba, which is Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, may Allah be pleased with him, he imposed it on himself. He decided to do that. And as a matter of fact, before the Prophet ﷺ reviewed him, he used to do it on every single day. And the Nabi ﷺ asked him to take it easy on himself. He said, I can afford more than that. He said, the maximum you can do is to fast. The best fasting, which is the fasting used to be observed by Prophet David, peace be upon him. He used to fast on every other day. So he started practicing that until he reached senility, and at old age he regretted. And he said, I wish I would have followed the advice of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So for fasting Mondays and Thursdays, you fast whenever you want to, or you skip it whenever you don't feel like it.
Jazakallah khair for that answer, Sheikh. We had a question from Sister Madiha from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Her first question is it haram to visit the places where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's punishment has been brought down?
It depends, because the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam once while passing on the way by Diyaru Qawmi Thamud, the people of Prophet Salih. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punished them for slaughtering the she-camel, and the story perhaps you would hear it on the best of stories. Or if you read it in the Quran or any other source, when Sayyiduna Salih alayhi salam was appointed as a prophet, and his people challenged him and said, if you want us to believe in you, you have to bring a she-camel, a pregnant she-camel out of this rock. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala delivered. It's a very interesting story. Perhaps you can read Surah Al-Shams and the tafsir, and you will find the tafsir of the entire story. So when they did not fulfill their covenant, and they betrayed and they slaughtered the she-camel, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed them. And their homes and the traces of their homes and their neighborhood is still remaining there in Saudi Arabia. So when he was passing by, he lowered his head and he rushed. He said, why? Because this is a place where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punished the disbelievers, and I'm afraid that if He wants to punish them again, we will be included. So if somebody passes by those places in order to receive an admonition, and see Allah's magnificent power, and to be reminded there is no problem. But those who go to take pictures and wander around and see how great were the people of Thamud and how great the pharaohs, the greatest ancient Egyptian civilization and all of that, this is not recommended.
Jazakallah khair. We have on the line Brother Mohammed from the Sudan. Go ahead, brother, with your question, please.
Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum
Wa alaikum assalam.
تقبل الله منا منكم صالح الأعمال.
آمين. Well, I feel you, Brother Muhammad, even though you were cut off. Are you there again?
I want to ask you about the word ذنوب. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فإن الذين ظلموا ذنوب مثل ذنوب أصحابهم فلا تنتظروا ذنوب.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for that question, Brother Muhammad. Sister Madiha from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, she also asked, is hijab fard? What is the proof that the hijab is fard?
Okay, then we have to start from the scratch. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, يا أيها النبي قل لأزواجك وبناتك ونساء المؤمنين يدنين عليهن من جلابيبهن ذلك أدنى أن يعرفن فلا يؤذين. This is a direct command to the Prophet ﷺ to command whom? أزواجك, your spouses, your wives. وبناتك, because we hear the argument that, hijab was only limited to the Prophet's wives, or daughters, or cousin, or to the Meccans, or only to the Arab. Believe it or not, I heard that in America after one khutbah Jum'ah, one sister came up to me and she's very educated and she said that, all this time I used to think that hijab is only for the Arab. And another woman used to think that hijab is something that is cultural because of the excessive heat in the desert or whatever. قُلْ لِأَزْوَاجِكَ وَبَنَاتِكَ وَنِسَاءِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And the women of the believing women, or the wives of the believing women, or the daughters, or all the women of the Muslim Ummah are also commanded to wear hijab, or to cover up properly, to cover their awrah. Then this is verse number 59 of Surah Al-Ahzab. Then there is verse number 31 of Surah An-Nur, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنَّ وَيَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهُنَّ وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ إِلَّا مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا. And command the believing women to lower their gaze as well, because in the previous verse Allah commanded the believing men as well to lower their gaze from looking at women whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited them from looking at. They're non-mahram, they're not related to them, they're not lawful for them. And not to show their zina except their outer garment. Then the following part of the verse, it's verse number 31st, you can go back to it, just simply by reading the English meaning, you'll find out that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded women, Muslim women in general, to cover their body parts and not to show their zina except to certain categories, the husband and the mahram, as is stated in the ayah.
Jazakallah khair for that answer, Sheikh. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today. I would like to thank you, Dr. Muhammad, for being with us. I would like to thank our viewers as well for watching the show, and I would like to take this opportunity to remind you of our email address. You can email us your questions at ask@huda.tv, or if you wish to support Huda TV and any of its programs, you can send us an email at support@huda.tv. Until next time, I'm your host, Omar Dunlap, wishing you peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
If my love is attached to thee, then from sins I will be free. Each time my heart will beat, your name will resound with heat. Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.